Welcome to Wine Talk TV. Make sure to stay tuned because what I'm about to share helped me save so much time when I was out dating and when I was in your shoes. And you don't want to miss out on this. Enjoy.
Aren't you sick of getting her number only for her to disappear? I used to do the same thing. Go out, get number after number, but nothing ever went anywhere. It's frustrating and exhausting. But I created the anti-flake system from the Cold Approach King, and it gave me 3 simple questions that show me within 30 seconds if she's actually interested. No more guessing, no more wasting time. Right now, the anti-flake system PDF is absolutely free, but it's only for a limited time. Go get your copy. The link is in the bio or DM me directly and I'll send it to you.
What's up, YouTube? Thank you for joining me for another episode of Wine Talk TV. Let's grab some wine and unwind and let's have a fucking conversation. So, today's topic of the day, as you guys can see in the title, I'm on the way to the gym, but I wanted to. Something came in my mind, and I feel like this is some content for this generation and future generations to really understand the importance of age. Now, age is important and not important, okay? And it doesn't, and I'm not saying this in a way to deter you from perhaps going after someone that's older than you, or to kind of like encourage you to go after a specific, age group. This video is more so an education for people out there that want to know why age is important. And I feel that when I was younger, when I was in my teens dating, and then in my earlier 20s dating, I wish someone would have kind of told me this. In fact, it was a female that taught me this at like age 28, where, you know, it's, she was a college grad, psychology major, and she kind of put it in perspective to me, which breeds this inspiration of why I need to share this to to the audience out there. So, age is important because it tells you a lot about a person. So typically, a lot of times people, when you're out there doing cold approaches or dating, you're not aware of this, especially a lot of bachelors. And if you're a bachelor, this doesn't really apply to you because you don't really care for that. A bachelor only cares for physical attraction, and that's it. And I don't blame you. That's what you should care about. But if you're trying to go out and date, listen up to this video in particular. Definitely, it doesn't require you to write it down. In fact, this video, I would feel like it has a lot of replay value, for you guys to sit back and relax, sit down and relax, wherever you are. So I'll get to the point. Certain age groups tell you about where a person is in their life, and you have to assess that within your life to find out if you are interested in this person and what they're going to bring to the table. Some factors that you're going to have to factor in is, where they are in their career, where they are in their sexual slash romantic inspirations. Um, those things are going to be very important for you to take a note, because that lets you to find their level of maturity as well. So when I was doing cold approaches, a lot of older women would ask me, hey, how old are you? And then they would simply reject the idea of dating me because just because of the fact that, like, we're in different modes of life right now. A lot of older women, when I was 18 and I would approach them, they would always tell me, you're in a different level of life right now. And I don't want to date you because of that. And at the time I didn't understand it. And I'm thinking, like, what is she talking about? I'm attractive, she's attractive, point blank and period. But no, this woman was filtering me out because she perhaps wanted something serious, right? Women typically ask your age only because of two things. And I'll come back to this: the level of maturity that you have, and two, for a younger woman, and maybe for an older woman, if we progress and perhaps in something serious, I have to introduce you to my family and friends. And I don't want to even think about what they would say if they find out that I'm dating a person that's half my age or 10 or 20 years younger. And then mom and dad has to evaluate this 10-year, 20-year-old person that I'm dating. That's super awkward. Yeah, it could be something fun. However, you got to put yourself in the shoes of a woman and what she has to do and what kind of position you put her in when you don't acknowledge that age is important. I'll break it down into a couple age brackets. So, this is going to be an ongoing conversation. So, this won't be the first video that I put out that speaks about ageism and why age is important. And I may put timestamps in this video for you all to kind of go back and understand each time gap. I may perhaps have a video dedicated for each time gap, to be honest with you, but in this video, it's going to be an overview. All right. So typically women between 18, and I'm going to start with just women and then I'm going to do men in another video, but this channel more so focuses on women and mainly strengthening men's confidence and knowledge for them to be able to understand when they're talking to a woman. Perhaps when you're talking to a woman who's younger versus a woman who's middle aged or older, you can't quite use the same seduction techniques or the same type of quote unquote game that you would a woman that's younger versus a woman that's older. And yes, it's raining outside, guys, while I'm shooting this video. So a woman let's start with the first age bracket. Women that are 18 to 25, I would say. Women that are between the years of 18 to 25 are in their their sexual / romantic prime. And so they're in they're in the prime of their sexuality. They're fresh, they're young, they are vibrant. They pretty much are going to be at the most attractive, uh, essentially, minus genetics. They're going to be at the highest level of attractiveness in their entire lives. They're the hottest commodity in the social dating market. And guys, you should know this. Women's prime actually starts when they're 16. And a lot of guys don't believe this, but women kind of start having sexual experiences with like around 14 to 16. That's why that quote kind of goes around like women are more mature, quote unquote, than men are, as it pertains to dating and sex and romance and intimate settings, is because they don't, and it's not a good thing. I'm not highlighting this as a good thing, but they kind of start realizing that there's men looking at them and wanting to do things with them at a very young age. They enjoy the attention so much that like they kind of like the attention at a young age, but as they get older, the attention that they were getting, from men at a younger age sexually, they start to get annoyed after a while. It's kind of like if you've been eating the same type of food for a long time, you get kind of annoyed eating it. Like the men become like super fun and super cool in terms of the attention that they're getting, but eventually men start kind of feeling like gnats. Those little fruit flies that are always around fruit, or if you didn't do your dishes the night before, you get all these gnats around, and now they have to kind of figure out how to swap the gnats away. So as they get older, the attention becomes cool when they're like 14 to 16, but after a while, when they're like 20 to 25, it kind of gets annoying. And then they start being a bit more choosy because some of the gnats are a bit aggressive. I'll get into that later, what I mean by that. So when a woman is between 18 to 25 years old, guys, you got to take it take an account of where they are within their private lives and personal lives. So what I mean by that, like typically women that are 18 to 25, guys, they're still in school. They're still in school. They're literally just starting. They're like building their social circle. They're just starting to really get into the dating market. They're starting to really flex their dating market muscle. They're definitely getting 10 times more attraction and attention from men. Like this, now they're at the point at 18 where they're getting like financial offers out of the ass. They're getting invited to yacht parties. They're getting invited to just regular parties. They're getting.
Want to know if she's into you in 30 seconds or less? I put together a quick 5-page PDF called the Anti-Flake System. It's free right now, but only for a limited time. Just say, link in the comments or DM me, and I'll send it to you immediately. And if you're watching on YouTube, head to my profile and click the link in the description to grab it.